Good morning, and welcome back to Lopes on Movies. My name is Joey Lopes, and today I am joined, after missing a week, by our New York correspondent, Connor.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry for the absence. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, we missed you last week. It was me, Kyle, and Mark can only do so much,
It's true.
I know. I heard there was a development in something we're going to be talking about very shortly. So.
Oh, yes, there was. Don't worry, we will get to that. But before we get to that, let me also introduce our second New York correspondent. You love him. He's here again, Mark.
Hi. I didn't know I was, on the clock for these things, and, you're really keeping close track of our time off.
Yeah, I get so much fan mail.
Yeah, I didn't know that, actually.
Demanding,
I wasn't aware.
We need more Mark. We need more Mark. We need less
Nobody
Kyle.
has told me
more
these
Mark.
things.
Okay.
I have doubts.
Okay, let's move on. So today, Connor's going to be leading a discussion on something that is very near and dear to his heart. But before we get to that, we have to... Something sad has occurred. And if you've been following the news over the past few days, then you are
and Lopes
aware...
on Movies.
And Lopes on Movies, for that matter. The Jeremy Renner app, the app that we discussed so thoroughly last episode, has been canceled. It is gone. I don't even know what to say. This is a devastating blow to the Jeremy Renner community. Guys, how are you feeling about this?
How have I taken it?
Yeah.
I can't really put into words what I felt when I saw Jeremy Renner's closing statement about how the app had literally jumped the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joey, do you have the quote ready? For what?
I do.
Please read,
yeah.
Please read the Jeremy Renner quote.
So just to give you guys some context, it was probably only maybe 8 hours after our episode aired on Wednesday of last week that I got a push notification from the Jeremy Renner app that just said goodbye. And I was like, oh boy, what's this about?
No, Jeremy, no.
Jeremy, don't do it.
I opened the app and I was greeted by this message from the man himself, Jeremy Renner. The app has jumped the shark, literally. Due to clever individuals that were able to manipulate ways to impersonate me and others within the app, I have asked EscapeX, the company that runs the app, to shut it down immediately and refund anyone who has purchased any stars over the last 90 days. What was supposed to be a place for fans to connect with each other has turned into a place that is everything I detest and can't or won't condone. My sincerest apologies for this to have not turned out the way it was intended. To all the superfans who have supported me with your words who have supported me with your words or encouragement. Amazing art, stories, and time shared on the app, a genuine thank you, and I hope to see you on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. JR.
I just can't believe the people that would do something like this to good old Jeremy.
Can I translate what happened here?
Please, Connor, please do.
Okay, so Jeremy Renner, who I mistakenly thought was the Green Comet, but he actually is Hawkeye. He is
yes.
one of the Avengers.
Yes.
One of the Avengers that was able to defeat Thanos. But he could not defeat the trolls on his pathetic app.
No, he could not. He did not have the power to defeat the trolls. The trolls got the best of him, and he just said, "You know what? I'm done." He just decided to throw in the towel. I can't help but feel a little bit responsible, even though I know that our show had absolutely nothing to do with the Renner app getting canceled.
The timing was just too perfect.
The timing, that got me to my core. The timing, just oh man. Jeremy, I just want to offer a heartfelt apology from all of us here at Lopes on Movies.
It's very disappointing that certain members of the Lopes on Movies staff were misidentified as trolls on this app.
Yes, that is a shame. That Kyle just trying to make a genuine post about the Green Comet was deleted. Yeah, just
there were good times on that app. I will miss it dearly.
This to me is just a fantastic conclusion to the Jeremy Renner saga that we started 2 weeks ago. I couldn't have asked for a better way to close out this whole chapter of Lopes on movies.
The Green Comet is definitely my favorite Avenger, and I'm very sad that I won't get to follow his further exploits.
I hope that they can reboot the Green Comet in a couple of years, and we can get a new Green Comet film on the new Green Comet app.
Let's all be clear though for one thing, because I've tried to explain this situation to people who weren't aware. The bad guy here is still Jeremy Renner.
What? For creating this app in the first place?
Yes. This app is ridiculous. The fact that you have to pay for stars, which are essentially likes, on an app that's essentially no more than just Instagram with Jeremy Renner's face on it. And for him to have to go and do this apology, and shut down his poor app. Oh my goodness.
How dare you? I am insulted, Connor. Jeremy
Connor,
Renner
how can you say that about Jeremy?
He just wanted to create a space for his greatest fans to communicate and give him money for his music career.
What am I going to do on Wednesday now?
Is that so wrong? Oh, by the way, just so you guys are aware, the app was canceled on Wednesday.
Oh,
so
no!
It was absolutely devastating. A moment of silence for the Jeremy Renner app. Okay, let's move on. I think we've said about as much as any person should spend time on with Jeremy Renner. Connor, I take it that you have something that you want to say.
Sort of. I guess I can try to introduce this next segment that we kind of slapped together. So I've been told in the past that certain movies that I've been interested in have a certain theme to them, and it's something very recent that has occurred of certain movies that I've watched and have enjoyed thoroughly. And Joe, you've seen many of these movies with me, and I think you would agree that they're very good, and they always hold a special place in my heart, always. And we are of course talking about what I have decided are old man movies.
Are these movies about old men or for old men?
Kind of for everything. They're for everybody, though, I think.
Okay.
These movies, yeah.
But make no mistake, they do indeed star old men.
They do.
I see.
Every one of these stars old men. So this segment is called Connor's top 6 old man movies.
He added one.
In no particular, I did. It was supposed to be 5, but I couldn't leave this other one out. This list could go on for to 20, but
I said, this is Connor's. This is something that's very special.
It's like your obsession.
Yeah, I've kind of realized it myself, and I'll start with this. The one I'll start with is the one that I just most recently watched, which made me come to the realization that oh my god, I really do like these movies. This is a thing that I have. What I define as an old man movie. Let's go with that. So it's in not every situation, but the lead is an older actor who usually has been in Hollywood forever. Mm-hmm. Usually they were huge superstars when they were younger, and continued to make movies as as their careers went on. And then a lot of these movies are they're either their final work or close to their final work, and it almost feels like a lifetime achievement kind of thing. And I guess the other thing I would say that reason that I like these old man movies and why I don't think that these will always be a genre that will exist is because I think there's a certain charisma and charm that these leads in these movies have that I don't think we'll be seeing from the actors of today when they are old men.
Oh,
I don't think
not.
Right, we are not going to have the same thing, and you will very easily tell who I'm talking about when I describe these movies. And Mark and Joey, if you've seen these, please feel free to we'll just chat about them. And these are in no particular order, by the way. I could not even begin to put these one in front of the other because they're all just so They're all just such winners.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one I'm going to start with is the one I've just watched most recently. It's called The Mule.
Ah, the Clint Eastwood film.
The Clint Eastwood movie, directed and starring Clint Eastwood. So in this one, he's a man down on his luck. A very funny character who's just like a funny person. He kind of abandoned his family a little bit here and there. He's kind of come to the realization that what he's done is he's been very selfish in his life, and he runs out of money, essentially, and he has to. He stumbles into a way to make more money, which is to be a drug mule for the Mexican cartel.
As you do.
Yes. So he just he drives. This movie is a lot of just Clint Eastwood driving in his car, singing along to just these other old man songs, and it's wonderful.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it really is good. This one, if out of all these 6, this is probably the lesser of the bunch, but it's still. A very good film.
Clint Eastwood.
I never got to see it.
Is actually the guy I thought of first when you said old man movies too. So that's kind of interesting, and I can see him ending up cropping up once or twice in this bunch.
Yeah, he's the man. So and he goes perfectly with what I'm talking about in the like superstar actor who we've seen him his whole career, and now he's towards the end, and Clint Eastwood is not young at all. And when I say old men,
old.
I mean old men. Like all of these men that are in these old man movies are old men.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like they're in their 70s old. Like they're old.
We're talking
these guys.
80s, man. We're talking
yeah. So the Mule is definitely fun. He tries to give lessons in the movie, which I always think, and that's a theme of all these kind of things. You feel something. You get like a lesson, almost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these guys have been around for a while, and I've seen it all. I mean, there's so much wisdom for them to impart.
Yeah. What is he like in the movie, though? Like, as far as like, he seems to have like a sort of grumpy persona these days, but
he's stern, but he's very funny. Like he's very quick-witted. Like he'll be at one thing that he's doing in the film is he's trying to the money he's like getting from like the cartel that they're giving him. He's putting into other things, and one of them is like his like senior community that he goes to. Like there was a fire, so he uses the money to like restore the place. And like before that, when he's in there, he sees like all these old ladies, and he goes up to them and he goes, "Oh, girls, you're on the wrong floor. The beauty pageant's upstairs." So he's like a charmer, and they all like fawn over him. It's just wonderful.
That's
like the
great.
charisma of like a Clint Eastwood and all of these guys really. Is just, it's amazing. And his character is very similar to another old man he played in the movie Gran Torino.
I was going to say.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Gran Torino is an all-time classic old man movie, which...
it maybe even started the genre.
Is this on the list, by the way?
It kind of. This is on the list. Gran Torino's on the list, yeah.
Got it. This is the movie I thought of when you said old man movies.
Yeah, so you guys can speak on Gran Torino a little bit too, I guess. Yeah, and this is another one written and directed by Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is such a like interesting guy in Hollywood, where he starts off kind of like the character that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, lead that Leonardo DiCaprio played. It kind of feels like Clint Eastwood.
Very similar. But
right?
the thing that's slightly different is that Clint Eastwood ended up having a gigantic career in Hollywood after he went to Italy.
The thing is that but that's the thing though, Joey. We don't know in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood if Rick Dalton was going to have a big career once.
That's
like
true.
So
that's true.
I think my way I took Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I don't want to talk about this too long, is that he was going to have that big career. Like,
he very possibly.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so Clint Eastwood goes from like a Western guy, has the career in Italy where these Westerns that he stars in that are all time classics, Sergio Leone movies. Yeah. Comes back to the United States, makes his own Western movies. Where he directs. He still is in plenty of things himself, and then he becomes this pretty terrific director where he like almost it's hard to find movies that he directs that are not good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll end up with a Clint Eastwood movie that's just a little bit like forgettable because he directs a lot of stuff, like
he does
a lot, and his kind of MO is like his MO is I didn't when I was working with directors I would get sick of people doing a million takes because it's bad for the actors, they hate doing it. So since I'm an actor myself, I'm just gonna do everything in as few takes as possible and just get it out the door, basically.
They do one take.
Yeah, but that's pretty much. you know, it works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes you end up with movies like Unforgiven, and sometimes you end up with the fake baby and American Sniper. You know,
yeah, but even that movie people didn't dislike, and it did
no,
well.
it wasn't garbage. I actually didn't hate it myself.
I mean, there's so many movies that man has directed that are very good too, that get Oscar nominated. Do you guys have anything to say about Gran Torino though?
Actually, at the time, it was supposed to be his last movie that he'd ever act in. Period. It was going to be his last movie, as far as I remember.
I feel like every movie after Gran Torino also was supposed to be his last movie.
Yeah, he
keeps
doing
it. Yeah, it's kind of.
He just keeps coming back for more.
Yeah, he does, and the characters are similar. I'd say his character in The Mule is a little more like lighthearted than his character in Gran Torino, who is much more stern. But he's funny too.
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting in Gran Torino is that he overcomes his own like
prejudices.
Prejudices and everything, that because he obviously he was like a Vietnam War vet and everything like that. So he's seen some things. He's living in a community that's not what he's used to. His usual white suburban, or now immigrants live in his community. And he's kind of like looking around like some person, like a guy who doesn't think that they belong here. But he kind of that kind of changes, and he kind of evolves and kind of changes his ways, and then it ends up it concludes with a kind of great sacrifice.
That was
by him.
A fantastic finale.
All right, we've talked about Clint Eastwood. We could go on for the rest of this about Clint Eastwood, but there's more old man movies here.
Oh, yeah. I know there is.
Next one I'm going to talk about that I don't think either of you have seen is called Waking Ned Devine. This one is a little bit different than the others. It takes place in a Irish community. It's directed by written and directed by Kirk Jones, who's I think most known for writing some pretty famous movies from foreign, or he directed Nanny McPhee, What to Expect When You're Expecting, but this was his first one.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is the one that hits home the hardest for me. It's an old man movie. So in this one, it's this little community in Ireland who everybody plays the lottery, and the townsfolk, have all, they all know each other, and they go to try to find their friend Ned Devine one day because they hear that somebody in the town has won the lottery, and they're trying to find everybody. And when they go check up on Ned, they see that he's died in his chair with the lottery ticket in his hand, and he was the winner.
That's
I assume there's more to it than that.
Yes, there is. And so what the people decide is that Ned was a great friend, and the town would love to split the money, so they all decide together as a community, and mainly the two old guys who kind of have this friendship and kind of lead the way here, decide that they're going to try to convince everybody in the town, to convince the people who come to deliver the money to the town, that someone else is Ned Devine and claim the prize for him so that they can keep the money. So it's great. It's funny. It's goofy. The two leads are Ian Bannon, who has been in a handful of things, but the other guy is David Kelly, but both these two are deceased now. David Kelly was probably most known by our audience for being in the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He played the uncle in that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so very funny movie, very sweet, charming. It's shot in Ireland. It's beautiful.
It sounds kind of like a cutely dark comedy.
It is kind of, yeah, but it's very nice.
I like that premise. That premise kind of already has me interested.
The premise is a winner, and one thing all these movies do is they give you a good feeling, like an uplifting feeling. It's something, and this one probably more so than all of these. Well, maybe there's one other one that's probably a little more uplifting, but yeah, just great movie. I would highly recommend it to anyone. It's a very good old man movie, and this one transcends the old man genre a little bit more, I think.
Well, I mean, you haven't said anything to suggest that the old man genre needs to be transcended.
No, it doesn't. Obviously, you could. Old man genre is plenty. So what do we have here? We have 2 more, right? No, 3 more. Sorry,
3 more.
3 more. Oh man, I thought that. I mean, really, we could have 30 more. Okay, all right. So this next one, Joey, you saw with me on one of your trips to New York. It is Lucky.
Aha, Lucky.
Yes, Lucky, starring Harry Dean Stanton. This was the last movie that Harry Dean Stanton ever acted in, and this one is another one of these examples of a superstar, amazing career when he was younger, continued to work. We saw him throughout all stages of his life. Nonstop amazing movies and classics. And then this one
TV shows, let's not forget.
And TV shows, yes, he was on Twin Peaks. This one though feels like such a culmination of his work, and it's like an amazing going away like picture, you know, like
it almost feels like there's some cosmic thing going on there that happened to be the last movie that he made, because it really does feel like if anybody could ever dream of having a movie that completely encapsulated their entire life up to that point, and then they pass on, like it feels like that's exactly what Lucky was. Like I couldn't imagine a better send off. Yeah,
it's an amazing movie. Yeah, I mean the description on IMDb alone is a spiritual journey of a 90-year-old atheist.
Yep.
So it's such an interesting movie because not that much is happening in it. You're just kind of seeing how this guy is living and how he goes about his life and how he just accepts his existence and his reality and his situation just so genuinely, and how he interacts with his friends who are also other old men, some of them not as old. David Lynch also has a part in this movie, which is amazing. He's very funny in the movie, and David Lynch and Harry Dean Stanton are obviously very good friends from the other past pictures, and there's an admiration there for the two of them, which is why it was nice that they were both in it. Yeah, it's very funny. Ron Livingston's in it also. He adds a whole nother dynamic to it. It's a very nice movie also.
I gotta say, this is maybe an odd thing, but I just kind of love the way Harry Dean Stanton looks, especially in this movie. He's got such a gangly look to him. Like he's knobby almost.
He has a very, very distinct look to him.
Yeah,
which is why
really nice.
He was he was a very, very good character actor, because there was a certain kind of character that he fit the part for perfectly, and he was used for that. For his entire life.
Yeah, he's kind of got this thing where he almost looks like a real life cartoon character.
In a good way.
Yeah, no, in a positive way. Yeah, it in an endearing sort of way.
And rest in peace, Harry Dean Stanton, because this was
he passed away very shortly after it came out, if I remember correctly. Maybe a little bit even before. Yeah, fantastic actor.
Okay, so we just talked about Harry Dean Stanton, and I brought up David Lynch. I did. So there's another movie. It's directed by David Lynch, called The Straight Story. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. It's from
I've heard of it,
1999. It stars Richard Farnsworth, who I'm not sure if you're as all familiar with Richard Farnsworth, but he was a pretty big actor too at the time. And just like Harry Dean Stanton, this was the last thing he was ever in, and he actually did get nominated for an Academy Award for this one, for Best Actor in this. And this is a lovely movie, and you hear David Lynch, right?
Yeah.
And what is David Lynch known for?
Way of looking at America, and then also the ability to conjure things straight out of the human unconscious's nightmares.
Yes. So this is called The Straight Story, and it is The Straight Story. This movie is not like anything else that David Lynch has done. I believe what the script came to him from and I think it was written by his girlfriend at the time, and he just fell in love with it, and he wanted to direct it. I think this might actually be an early Disney movie before the evil empire took over of Disney. So in this one, it's and yes, this is what it is. It's an old man who makes a journey on a lawnmower to mend his relationship with his ill brother.
Based on a true story, isn't it?
Based on a true story, yes. I don't know nearly enough about the true story, which I wish I did, but it is a lovely movie. You see, because he's old to the point where he doesn't have a license, so I guess that's the reason why he's on his lawnmower, going a very long distance, and you see the people that he meets along the way, because obviously he can't go very far. He meets a runaway girl at one point, and then kind of gives her a nice message. Meets a family here on the side that might be having trouble here. That it's just lovely, and the guy gives a wonderful performance. And if you're talking about just want to feel good kind of movies, this is one of them. This one's excellent.
The only other thing I'll say about The Straight Story that I'm aware of that I think is really funny is that David Lynch repeatedly referred to it as his most experimental film.
Yes, which is obviously, so David Lynch.
Take of that what you will.
David Lynch is obviously like a hilarious guy, and that's
Oh my god.
Connor, exactly I think we got one more.
We do. We have one more. These are the top 6 in no particular order, just like how you're feeling, how you're feeling on a particular day. And this one had to be the last one I talk about because it actually has the old man in the title.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's perfect.
Yep, this one is The Old Man and the Gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very recent movie, and it stars the only Robert Redford. And this is another one that's supposed to be his last movie where he's the lead.
Last starring role, yeah.
Last starring role. It's directed by David Lowery too, so a guy who's made some pretty interesting movies already.
He has.
The Old Man and the Gun is about the Over the Hill Gang, which is a true story about these old men who would rob banks in the 70s. Yeah, this one is very awesome also, and this probably Robert Redford has so much charisma. Even in Robert Redford's also in his 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He has so much charisma in this. He's amazing. The way he did, because the way and Joe, you've seen the movie too. Just let me say this, and then you can speak your thing. Like the way he would even go up and rob the banks, he would just have a smile on, and he would just feel he was like, oh, it's nothing's wrong with this, and he was doing because he loved it. And he would just and everybody would say after he robbed the bank that, the guy didn't look mad or upset. He looked happy. He just kind of, he was very gentlemanly. Everybody loved him. He was
a great guy.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Robbing banks stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, and I should mention also, I know we're talking about old man movies here, but Sissy Spacek is in this too, and she's probably like the love interest, is that the right word? I guess it is.
Kind of, a little bit, yeah.
She's great in it too.
Oh, she was fun.
And she has a similar type of, a way about her that just, and they play off each other wonderfully. I think
maybe it's that there's just no there's no cynicism, there's no irony. It's all just like these very genuine performers.
Yeah, so these are old man movies.
Man, what a topic.
What a topic, right? Can you believe that there's that many of these?
What would you say, aside from the fact that they're all about old men and generally they're, the end of their careers and stuff, what is there like a unifying feeling you get from these movies?
Yes, I think that more than anything else is the feeling. Like it's a strange melancholy, like happy feeling that just overtakes me for some reason. Like it just makes you feel, you know what? Things could be going bad right now, but you keep fighting on through, and you just keep keep at it, and one day you'll be like one of these guys who has the kind of career that could last like this and have like a lasting impact. Yeah. One thing I'll also say is that every single one of these like lead actors and the characters that they're playing lives with no regrets and goes through with their characters in these movies with no regrets, doing exactly what they want to do, what they're setting their mind towards, and they're they live their lives, and it's great. Even though in the wake, knowing that the end could be near soon, they are totally accepting of their fate, which is nice. Lucky probably more than any of the other ones, I would say, but. Yeah,
it's
all of them, every one of these. And one more time, it was The Old Man and the Gun, Lucky, The Mule, Gran Torino, The Straight Story, Waking Ned Divine. Highly recommend every one of them. They're all great.
Yeah, go check them out, guys. If you're looking for something inspirational, emotional, a little sad, but really at the end of the day, it uplifts you and puts you in a place where you want to be. So I think that's all we got today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about these old man films. Next week, we will be doing something extremely cool that I'm not going to spoil on the air just yet, and we'll just leave it at that. Have a good one, everybody.